Good afternoon, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, and you?
Very well, thank you. Can we start off with team news from this game against Ipswich? Have you got any fresh injury concerns to deal with?
No, everyone ready for Man United is also available again. So the positive was we got Igor Thiago in the squad against Man United and also on the pitch. So that's very pleased with that. Hickey is getting closer. Played a beating game Monday, 60 minutes there. So it's also closer, just short of being involved in the next squad, but hopefully he could be involved in one of the next two games. But let's see. It's about building him correctly.
You've obviously got a fully fit squad now. It's been an incredible run. 2 draws against Arsenal, Chelsea, 3 straight wins against 3 top sides. What has that done for the mood in the camp going into this final set of games?
Well, I think good mood, fantastic energy. I just said basically to the, I walked into the morning meeting here where we had a few analysis bits about Ipswich, of course, and preparing for the training. And the lads were just constantly talking before I had say morning, hey guys, can we get started? So that bossing energy, banter. So that's nice. When there's good energy, is normally a good sign of a team that are in a good place. And we, touch wood, it's been very good over the last many seasons to have a strong finish, a good run in terms of performances. So big praise to the performance and the medical guys to how can you say, time it? Not time it. It's about being able to consistently perform on a high level, but there's a tendency that you drop off towards the end of the season because it's just you're tired or you're more fatigued or whatever. So no, we're in a good place. We're looking forward to the game on Saturday.
How much is that chase for European football and ending this season in an incredible way really motivating the players?
I think it's quite a unique group of players. They are very driven, very ambitious, and they want to improve and get better all the time. But I think we all need a little extra sometimes, and now there's a little extra in terms of maybe qualify for Europe. Of course, it's not in our hands. This isn't, first and foremost, we need to finish 8th. There's teams above us. Secondly, there's other factors that need to fall into place before it's a reality. So it's not like if we just do everything we can, then no problem. But we hope and we dream and we will aim for it. And then I think the second thing is, if we could finish top 10, that would be another remarkable achievement.
Your front three, Bryan Mbuemo, Yohan Wissa and Kevin Schade, have had an incredible season so far. I mean, 46 Premier League goals between them is an incredible number. I know when Ivan left, there was a lot of pressure on the likes of Bryan to really step up and add to the goals that obviously he used to score. But how much work have you done with them individually to try and help them improve their performances?
I would say that someone sent me a nice stat after the last game that we were the only club with 2 other smaller clubs with double digits numbers. So I think it was the 3 Bs, Bayern, Barcelona and Brentford. So that's a nice stat. I must admit we are quite proud of. If you are an average Brentford fan and you've been fan of the club for many years, and then we suddenly are able to how can we show that because of 3 fantastic players, fantastic environment and good coaching. So it's big praise to my coaching staff and the players for the constant developing and adding layers to these 3 players. Something we work on when the training pitch. I think there's 2 things. One, our guiding principles for how we want to attack and how we want to score goals and how we want to arrive in the box and how we want to do things. And second thing, the belief and the trust in the players from our side. And then, of course, we have 3 good players. So we have more good players, but 3 good players that got to drive themselves to push and go forward. And another one to add there is Yohan Wissa. I think he got 18 non-penalty goals. That's an incredible number. That's only the best of the best who got that in general over the years in the Premier League. So if you look back at stats, it's very few. And if he could hit that magic 20 mark, it'd be fantastic. So as far as I know, there's only 3 players who have 1 more, and that's Haaland, Salah and Isaac.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, your captain, Christian Norgard, has this week said that he thinks it's likely that Bryan Mbuemo will leave Brentford this summer, and he doesn't know about Jan Wesley. He says obviously he hopes that they stay. Can you add anything to Christian's comments?
Yeah, only that I like them to stay. I would love the best players to stay at the club. We all know that we are selling club, but they are that good. It need to be a very good club with a lot of money to pay for what they get. They got quality, both of them. Both of them, how can I say, have developed massively. We say Bryan has been here 6 years. He's definitely done everything he can and just added layers every single season. And he's performing at a top level. Both of them performing at a top level.
And in terms of your opponents this weekend, Ipswich, obviously Kieran McKenna was in the position last summer that you were in when Brentford were promoted in, revamping his squad and trying to lead them to safety. Now, you've done that over the last 4 seasons, keeping Brentford in the top 5 and pushing them on, maybe for a European spot this season. How tough is that task when you are faced with that challenge of taking a club like Brentford into the Premier League and keeping them stabilising in the Premier League? How tough is that?
That is tough. It is an extremely competitive league, relentless, best league in the world. So many good players, coaches, clubs. So it's very tough. I think we have done something good together. Of course, I've said it a few times, but the alignment and the strategy from top to bottom, from Matthew to Phil to Lee Dykes, Gianvani, me, all the way down, we are completely aligned. The ability and willingness to work hard throughout, every day, every week, constantly doing that. And that's not only me. That's the staff players, and then I think the also ability to develop every year. I think we just do the same. I think we will decline and we will not be able to compete against the team. So we constantly need to develop off the pitch and on the pitch. I think that's some of the most important parts.
And I interviewed Kieran McKenna yesterday in the build-up to this match to preview the game, and he had some really nice words to say about you. He called you an outstanding manager. What have you made of the work that he's done at Ipswich?
Well, thank you for the kind words. I can give them back to say I think Kieran is a very good manager or coach. I think he's proven that you don't do what he or they have done together, him and his coaching staff and the club, going from League One to Championship to Premier League. That's remarkable. And for whatever reason they couldn't stay up. There are always many factors, and I'm looking from the outside. Don't know enough about it, but I see Kieran a very clever coach and person, and I'm convinced that he will learn from this, reflect, come back stronger.
Thanks, Thomas.
You're welcome.
Thomas, just reflecting on that, with the difficulty, has it become more difficult to stay up? Because obviously the last 2 seasons they've promoted 3, been relegated. I think I was looking at it since Brentford's promotion. The number of teams have not stayed up. Obviously, Bournemouth, Forest, and Brentford have done. Have you noticed the Premier League has got tougher? The gap now, with your analysis of looking at the Championship, is even bigger. It becomes more difficult.
It looks from the outside it is more difficult. Of course, every season is a new season, and we start from square one, and we need to prove ourselves again. Hopefully, the foundation we have built is strong enough to keep doing that. But that's why I say we need to keep adding, keep developing, because if you don't do that, cheapers are hunting you from behind, and over years they can't go past you if you not keep running or developing or pushing. You can discuss when you look at stats, but also my feeling and try to remember the different teams and how difficult it is. I think every game has been difficult throughout the years, but I think it seems like the 17 teams that is in the Premier League is so it's so difficult. They're so even. So of course there's the top 3, 6, 8, but the next pack I think is very, very even. The difference between teams is like this. So every season you need to fight. So yeah.
So if it were to be a top 10 finish, and 8, as you say, depending on what happens elsewhere, could be European football, but 2 top 10 finishes out of 4. What does that mean to you, you personally, the group, the club, everyone connected with it? Because no longer that bus stop in Hounslow. I mean, this is an established Premier League outfit.
I agree. I don't think we are a bus stop in Hounslow. How can I say, as a looking from the outside? I think in our heart we'll still be a bit a bus stop in Hounslow, and I think that's very important that we always remember that and have that inside us, because I think that keeps us grounded and humble, and know who we are. But I think it's also good to we always been ambitious, you know that, but also dream and want more, but just remember who we are. I think that's very important, because that's where you can build in the right way. And I would love us to finish top 10. Of course, we're chasing even more if we can, but still as you do, there's 3 games to go. It's 1 game at a time and all that. But I definitely like to answer that question when it's confirmed. Then I'll really want to tell you in depth how much it'll mean to me.
There's very few clubs that aren't selling clubs, obviously. So the speculation about Bryan's understandable, Johan understandable because of what they've achieved. With the fully fit squad and with the players who may feature over the next couple of games that aren't Bryan, that Gustavo, Igor, Kevin's emergence this year in particular, does that just show the way that Brentford go? Another example of how Brentford do their business. That there's almost, it's not a production line, it's planned, it's worked out, but there is a way of having robustness and sustainability in the way that you go about things.
We try. I think it's easy to plan. It's much more difficult to execute it. With getting the right players in, which is tricky. Then develop them, having the patience so they're ready next in line when someone maybe is leaving us. But so far so good. We've done that very well. And I think one of our strengths is also we're quite patient. So for example, now you see Keane this season have taken a big step, Kevin taking a big step, Dams have taken a big step, and that means that we are a little bit more secured for the next push.
And I would say we've talked about Nathan making that step as well, but also Seth during the season, like Nathan during last season, very similar. Can I ask you about Keane now? Question I wanted to ask you, and then now get to the end of it. He didn't come as a left back. Could he be an international left back? If you looked at the position and where there is a potential gap as a left back who could be also an adaptable player within the squad.
Yeah, I think so. If I'm honest, I think you can play fullbacks both sides, but also wingers both sides. He preferred to play to the left. I think it gives also something different to have a right-footed left back actually in some ways. And I think he performed fantastic this season. I think extremely stable, extremely robust, and actually giving us another dimension in the way we play.
Two questions, if you don't mind. One's not related to you or Ipswich, but a question on Ipswich. People will look at it and go, well, Brentford have got 3 winnable games in the last 3 games, so it should be 9 points. That's not your approach, and Ipswich are not going to make that easy. Whatever's happened to them, wherever they're going to be next season, going up to Portman Road, they're going to want to finish the season as possibly they can with their fans. So it's still a dangerous proposition.
I see the next game as potentially the most difficult of the 3, and that's with big respect to Ipswich. I think they have shown more or less every game this season they're very competitive in every game. the small bits that need to go their way. They haven't seen them dropping in intensity or performances or willingness to work hard and run hard. They play home. 3 last Premier League games, they need to enjoy the most of it. With all due respect, they never know when they come back. So they know that will be difficult. We need to be absolutely up for it, but I also expect us to be.
Final question is more of a preparation question for next week, and actually you probably don't want this outcome because of the European situation, but you are a manager who knows how to beat Manchester City. We've got a team in London going into a big game against Man City a week on Saturday. What's the secret to beating Manchester City?
Maybe I have too much on stake in that game for me to come with all the the secrets here. I'm pretty sure that Oliver Glasner and his team have everything prepared and will be in a good place to try to do that. Let's see. You're welcome.
Sam? Hi, Thomas.
Hi.
So I just want to start with Igor Thiago. Obviously, it was brilliant to have him back. He's obviously had a joint infection, which isn't the most common of injuries, and I just wanted to sort of detail, if you could, the problems that you faced in getting him back to fitness, or just the difficulties, because I think most people don't tend to understand what a joint infection actually is.
I think it's like with any other injuries. It's when they have an injury, then they need to, how can you say, get over the injury and then come back to fitness. So for Igor's point of view, he is how can you say, over the worst part and getting into training, and now it's just about giving him the right load, like with any player, no matter if it's a joint infection or a hamstring or an ankle. And now he just needs to be fit enough to be able to compete. He probably just a bit. We pushed him a bit hard to be available for the squad because we needed him and be available. So even if we had hopefully not an injury to any of our front three, he will not start. But he will. Hopefully, he had a good week of training. I'm just thinking his time goes so quick. Good week of training this week. We'll have another good next week, and then he will build from that.
And so just with the, I think you said rush, was that to get him in the squad for United, or was that?
No, just in general. There's 4 games back left of the season, and he hasn't played that much. So without taking any unnecessary risk, we wanted to push him.
Yeah, perfect. And I just want to talk about Michael Kayode again, another unbelievable performance. Take me through the work that's gone into him putting in a performance like he did against United.
Again, all credit to the player, all credit to Michael. A fantastic personality, fantastic approach to everything. So coming in for day one, working hard, one big smile, positive. It's just nice to work with a player like that. And of course, he got a good skill set, good package, unbelievable physical package. Shown that he's extremely good defensively. I think in 1v1s he's so aggressive and got that bite you want, and he's just bombarding up and down the touchline. So pleased with it.
And you talk about that smile, that personality. That's such a big thing for Brentford, because you talk all the time about culture and being the right character first and foremost. Yeah,
that's a big thing. For me. Good characters beat everything. If you've got good characters, good people, then everything is possible, especially in our environment, but I think is in every environment, because then you have people that are going in the same direction, want to push, positive, energetic, all that. So no, he's good there, definitely.
And then training is the aspect that, say, the fans don't get to see. I wondered if you could sort of detail, if you could, the moments where Michael was sort of shone in training, moments where you've gone, okay, this is a Premier League player who can perform like he did against United.
I think we've seen, let's say in the 1v1 actions, the way he's winning the 50-50 duels, his running capacity, all that we just saw more and more of through the weeks.
Yeah, perfect. And then finally on that point is with the energy, that again, that's a massive part of how you play. Is that something that you noted when you looked to bring him in?
Yeah, of course we knew, I would say, his strengths and weaknesses, and one of them we knew was his big strength was that physicality and that energy and that ability to go up and down all the time.
Yeah, perfect. Thank
You're welcome.
So it was a while back in 2018, but what are your memories of your previous visit to Portman Road?
Was that a 1-1 game?
1-1 game.
I remember that. I think actually also went down 1-0, didn't we? I can't remember. Doesn't matter. Great stadium, great fans, great history. Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and the first fixture against Ipswich was way back in October, the 4-3 game. What are some improvements you would say the squad has had since that?
Us?
Yeah, you guys.
I would like to say that we defend even better than we just conceded 3 against Man United. So, but that's respect for, in Premier League and football. We always go up and down. It's only the next game is around the corner in terms of you can add layers, improve again, or you go one step back. That's the nature of the game. But I would say we are in a more robust place, a more even more balanced. We've always been structured, but it's just we are more in sync. I would say we're in flow in more or less every phase of the game. We've been that, as I said, now the last 13 games. Where I think at that stage we were sometimes incredible going forward and not that good going the other way or defending. So now I think everything is more in sync.
And now with Ipswich is a relegation confirmed, a lot of players will be looking to leave. Is there anyone from the Ipswich squad you'd want to have in your team?
It would be nice if I named them. That would be a good headline for tomorrow. I think they have quite a few good players there. Definitely, we're always looking for players. No doubt about that. But I'm also happy with the players I got.
And finally, from you, do you see Ipswich coming right back up the next season?
There's probably a lot of factors in that I don't know enough about. Depending on how they can keep the squad together and what they do. But Kieran and his coaching staff will definitely have a good knowledge and experience of what they did last time. Be even more, not only experience, but even more knowledge. I learn every year. I'm a better manager now than 4 years ago in the Premier League. So constantly you improve. Yeah, I think there's a possibility for that. You're welcome.
Thomas, how likely is it for a selling club to one day challenge or consistently win the silverware?
That's a good question. Silverware, of course, is also the cup tournament, so I think that's possible. If you hit that perfect cup run in the perfect year, and we have tried that, especially the last 2 years without us having the perfect cup run in any way. But of course it is more difficult when you need to replace players all the time. But not impossible.
I mean, for example, Brighton, you look at them and how sort of they finished like 6th. I think a couple of years ago they sell McAllister, Kayode, that's 2 steps back almost. They've got to rebuild. Does that sort of trajectory that surely doesn't match your long-term ambitions of wanting to be a manager in the Champions League?
Yeah, I think it's, how can I say, well, what is a club potential? I don't know how to rate that, but if you have a club that, let's say us right now, we're probably a club that could be anything between, hopefully, minimum 17 and all the way up to in the perfect year 6. Perfect year. But that's the 2 end of the spectrum. And most likely, most of the years you will be a little bit in that middle bracket, hopefully. So, and that's also that you sell the players on the right time. You have the timing of keeping the best players 1 or 2 years together, and then maybe you only sell one, and then you have some other. So there's that constant changing. That's why it's so dynamic and so difficult to predict, and why sometimes when you when you finish like 6th, like Brighton, then everyone wants them to do the same again, or West Ham did it. It's just so difficult because other clubs are taking a step up. So people need to understand, fans, directors, owners, head coaches as well, that it will always be a little bit up and down in those clubs.
So I guess for you to be that Champions League manager, it's pretty difficult to do that.
It's difficult here, not impossible.
Yeah.
It's odds against. You're welcome.
Anyone else for anything else? In that case, we'll stop it there. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.